All right, everybody, welcome back to the Culture Cast, a retro pop culture cast that is better than some and worse than others. I'm your host, the White Couch, and with me, as always, the Chip to my Dale, the Patrick to my SpongeBob, the Rocky to my Bullwinkle, and if I pulled a rabbit out of my hat, I would get Mr. Jason Shepard.
How's it going? How you
Fantastic,
doing?
sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Sipping on the Huge tonight, the Miller Lite.
Ah,
Still no
yes.
sponsorship. Still hadn't heard anything about it.
Still chugging along for the sponsorship. I
Mhm.
myself have a nice Nintendo NES controller mug full of
Mm,
a turmeric latte.
I wasn't expecting that. I'm thinking maybe a nice hot chocolate or something, but okay.
Well, got to try to stay healthy and all that good
Yeah,
stuff. So got that and a vapor distilled water
look
that
at you.
is simple truth or organic. I don't know how water is not organic unless it comes out of your tap.
True.
But not going to
Just
get sponsorship for water or turmeric
no,
lattes.
no. I'm proud of you though. You're making good choices tonight.
That's right.
Which
You got to do the little, got to do the little things. I'm thinking if I make it to 80, I'd be doing
yeah,
really well.
yeah. He's
That's a
good.
good age.
It's a good number to shoot for.
Yeah. If you go
Yeah,
out at 80, yeah, I got Ocho in my name, so we're cool.
it was the turmeric.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Or the Miller Lite. We'll see which works out.
You know, I've heard people in their hundreds say the key to staying healthy and alive is drinking every day.
Right. Well, the words of Burgess Meredith, the Great Lake Penguin,
Sure.
also in Grumpy Old Men, drink your breakfast or eat your breakfast, drink your lunch and your dinner.
Yes,
You can also shit in one hand and wish in the other and see which gets filled first.
that's true. But you failed to mention his biggest role.
What's that?
His biggest role. I figured the first thing when I think Burgess Meredith, I think of Mickey, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, I wasn't. Oddly enough, I was never a big Rocky fan.
Oh man, guys, we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, go ahead and shut it down now.
You no,
No, but I do like. I was a huge fan of Burgess Meredith, and but I always go back to the old Batman show and the original because no one can do the Penguin like he done the Penguin.
I know he was an incredible penguin, but DeVito really. Maybe this
Oh
will
my
be
god,
for.
are you
Are you
serious?
forgetting everything right now? Like, are you forgetting everything?
Oh my god, did you just say Danny DeVito did a great Penguin?
I think he did.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
What?
Oh no! That's the one thing and it's funny. Batman Returns comes up several times in the podcast so far, but yeah, I didn't like it.
Oh man, really? Well,
Yeah.
now the Burgess Meredith was yeah, he was right on the money when it came to the comic book Penguin, but you didn't like the whole Tim Burton thing, huh?
No, I loved everything else about the movie.
Oh
Was
man,
not a big fan of the Penguin. I always associate the Penguin with a higher class of criminal.
he was a classy dude.
Yeah.
He's a classy bird.
He's in the right pecking order.
Oh. We'll see
Yeah.
you guys next week. Oh,
Oh, so that's fine. We start out with a little Batman conversation, but that kind of
wow.
lends into what we're going to be talking about today, and
A little bit.
that is the wonderful world of cartoons and
Yeah.
and some of our childhood favorites from the 80s, and I'm sure we're going to have some fantastic agreements because there is no Batman Returns Penguin in this
No,
list. So
there's not. But I got to go on and tell you. I uh, I I kind of picked a bunch of random stuff to talk about with cartoons, just because I figured we would end up covering the mainstays, right? Like the staples. So
Oh yeah.
I kind of pulled some out of left field to talk about.
The yeah, there's definitely like, I mean, I had to dig out my shirt, for
Sure.
this episode. So I mean, obviously there's going to be, I think hell there might be a whole dozen that are just on the same wavelength, but
You
I
can't
think
talk
there's a
about
few surprises out there.
yeah. Ah, well, let's get into it. See what we got.
All right, but before we do that,
Mm,
there are a couple things that hit this week that we both agreed that would be very interesting to take a look at. And just following up on last week, we seen the trailer for the Mario movie, the first trailer. Now we're going to get a look at a second peek. And this one, now I'll go ahead and let you know I've seen this one. And Jason,
okay,
you
I
said
haven't
you have
seen it.
not, right? This has a lot of really cool Easter eggs, and this got me super stoked for the movie. But let's get it up on screen here.
All right.
Add the stream, and let's take a look.
Not sure if you know who I am, but I'm about to rule the world. Yay! But there's one problem. There's a human, has a mustache, just like you. You think I know every human being with a mustache wearing an identical outfit with a hat with the letter of his first name on it? Because I don't.
Bowser is coming. Together, we are going to stop that monster. How? Look at us. We're adorable.
I got this. No problem. Yes! Get it off, get it off!
There's a huge universe out there with a lot of galaxies. They're all counting on us. No pressure.
All
Well,
right.
that was a much cooler trailer than the first one. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So a couple of the Easter eggs from the original Mario that really sucked were number one, the cheap bridge. Where the fish jumped over. I always hated that level.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see him get smacked in the face, because if you grew up playing Mario 1, you got smacked in the face by plenty of those
Oh
damn
yeah.
things.
Oh yeah. I liked
Now,
the falling platform when you stand on it too long from Mario 3.
yes, the little donut. That's why
Yeah.
that one was really cool too.
Yeah.
Did you catch on the Mario Kart reference when he slid sideways? That was the original voice of Mario. So
Oh,
that's why
was
they
it?
have him listed in there. So he's going to do a few of the parts there, which I thought was great,
Oh, wow.
because at least we'll get all the sounds that we're used to Mario making in the game will be 100% accurate.
Yeah.
And Luigi, big old scaredy cat, but this is the way I think Mario should be portrayed. I mean, that looks really good, right?
It looks really good. I agree. That made me a little more excited to see it.
Yeah, so I think I will make a theater trip for that one. I think
Yeah, I think
that
it'll
is
be a good one to watch in the theater. Yeah.
All right. So one more thing, super stoked about.
I know what it's. I know what it's going to be.
Now we've both seen this one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now
oh wait,
let
wait.
me.
One last can't watch
Oh,
this
oh,
without.
I know. I know what you're doing. Yep.
All right. And you
There's
had
a lot. There's a lot to unpack in this trailer. Really.
there is. Well, let's
Yeah.
take a look at it and then we'll get your thoughts.
I miss the desert. I miss the sea. And I miss waking up every morning, wondering what wonderful adventure the new day will bring to us. Those days have come and gone. Perhaps, perhaps not. I don't believe in magic, but a few times in my life, I've seen things I can't explain. And I've come to believe it's not so much what you believe, it's how hard you believe it. Who is this man? I'm her godfather. Related. Get back.
Oh, that is fantastic. I cannot wait for
I think
Indiana
it's
Jones. I don't care how old Harrison Ford gets.
no. Well, so yeah. There's a lot there. I mean, this is his last ride as Indy. So um, there's um, a lot of stuff going around in the rumor mill, right? About test screenings that have been done for the movie, and there was apparently alternate endings, and nobody liked any of them. But apparently, Kathleen Kennedy wanted the one that was the worst for everybody. And I don't know what James Mangold, the director, like continues to shut that down and say, no, none of this is true. None of this is true. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're hearing, it's not true. So I don't know. I think the trailer looked really good. You know, people had a problem with the last movie, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. But I did not dislike that movie at all. I thought it was the weakest link in the series so far, but like I just didn't hate it the way people hate it. And I think this one looks like it's going to be pretty phenomenal. Of course, we saw the de-aging on Harrison, which confirmed that whole time travel theory about the movie. We're dealing with the space race era, so obviously all this is going to come into play. I don't know, man. I think it looks really cool.
I enjoyed Crystal Skull. I agree that it was definitely the weakest of the series by
Yeah,
far.
yeah,
But to me, archaeology and ancient astronaut theorists, they
yeah.
go hand in hand, you know?
Like oh, so I guess a Nazi cult that had their faces melted by like a ghost coming out of the lost Ark of the Covenant, right? Was like too far. Was that was fine, right? But
Yeah, that
it,
that was more historically accurate according to most people.
yeah, but aliens are just well, that's too crazy, too
Yeah, it's
crazy.
hard to believe that the people that seeded the earth, could be involved in a movie. They're not Hollywood ready, is what it is.
No, they weren't.
So there were really cool Easter eggs. Now, this is the first time I've seen it other than my phone, and I've only watched the trailer once. It was on my phone. A lot of really cool Easter eggs in there, but this one I seen and it made me smile.
I know which one you're going to be talking about.
because I
I
didn't
bet
catch
I know.
this.
I bet I know.
And let's throw it up on the screen here.
Yep.
That
Yep.
I see that and I was like, oh, holy shit! There's a
Yeah.
nice.
I mean, I knew right. I knew right when I saw it what it was. I was like, oh, okay, nice. I see what you did there.
Oh, that was a fantastic little nod. You know,
Yeah.
and I think they've done that in every one of the movies. There's been a nod to Star Wars in them. I know R2D2 and C3PO might have made it into two of them.
I know that they were in Lost Ark, right? They were inscribed down in the Well of the Souls, I think, when he
Yeah, on the
went
on
down
the
there to get the Ark.
tower.
Yeah. I don't know where else they showed up at, but yeah.
I'd have to look it up. If you're out there and watching, leave it in the comments below. Let us know where else there's Star Wars references inside the Indiana Jones franchise. But speaking of franchises, let's get on to the main topic of today, which are cartoons.
Yes.
Right? Everybody loves a good cartoon, right?
Before we start, let me just throw a quick rest in peace out to Miss Kirstie Alley, who passed away last night of this recording at 71 of cancer. So major bummer.
Yeah, no, it was sad to see. Cheers fame, and I just found out I'd never realized that she was in Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, she was
as a major character.
Yeah,
I was never a too big of a Trekkie outside of the Next Generation, but I found that out today. And of course, Kirstie Alley to me was always Cheers. I mean, who was going to replace Diane? No, the show was going to go downhill. It didn't. It arguably got better.
yeah. She was fine. Fantastic in Cheers, man. Look who's talking. I mean,
right?
Yeah. So yeah, bummer.
So, well, Jason, we all about Murphy's Law, right? Anything that will go wrong will go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard about Cole's Law?
Oh man,
it's shredded cabbage.
See you guys next week.
Yeah. Well, I got a little worried because you threw it up there. It was Kirstie Alley's death, and I was like, wow, that's going to be hard to.
Let's put a little levity in there somehow. Coleslaw joke.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to roll off a Murphy Laws joke right after that. But there's a segue for everything, right?
You made it happen. I'll give it to you. I wasn't expecting that. So.
All right. So cartoons. Get off the school bus in the afternoon. You go in, turn on some TV while you're doing your homework.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, you get up, you're eating a bowl of cereal that we talked about last week. We're all doing the same thing across the United States. And what is that?
We're going to watch cartoons.
Right. What are we going to watch? What are our mainstays?
There are so many to talk about. Now, like I said, I don't even have to make a list for the mainstays. I can just pop them off the top of my head, right? So me, as a kid, I'm going in and I'm watching He-Man and the Masters of the Universe because that was my jam. That still is my jam. Man, I was so obsessed with it as a kid. Like I had to see He-Man, right? So I loved it. I went and saw Masters of the Universe Power Tour when it came to Rep Arena. Do you remember this?
I remember that going around. Now, I never got to go see any of the shows.
My dad took me to see that at Rep Arena. I just thought it was the coolest thing, man. The movie came out on my birthday in 1987, the same year. And so he went to the theater and saw that. Had all the toys, still have all of them. The cartoon. I mean, I subscribed to He-Man magazine. We get one.
Really? I didn't know the mail magazine.
Yeah, you get one in the mail every month, man. And my parents did it for a couple of years. They subscribed to it and just obsessed, man. Just absolutely. It was one of the biggest, I think, cultural phenomenons of that era. And I mean, I had to watch it every day after school. So it was definitely watching He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Yeah.
So He-Man was definitively on my list.
Yeah.
So a couple He-Man related questions here.
Okay.
Now I had the action figures and watched the cartoon, seen the movie. Now I didn't do any of the extracurricular He-Man stuff. Was that the one that was on ice? Because wasn't there a He-Man on ice?
So it's weird that you say that because, and you know what? While we are talking about it, let's just confirm this because I didn't think that there was. I called for years. I thought it was He-Man on ice, but when I looked that up, it ended up being just the Masters of the Universe Power Tour, which they were not on ice. So let me just.
Interesting. Maybe we probably just stumbled upon another Mandela effect.
Well, I actually went and saw Smurfs on ice at Rupp Arena as well when I was a kid. No, there was no He-Man on ice.
Really? Was there
But
a
it's weird.
She-Ra on ice?
I don't know. Let's look. Because my mind used to go to that too.
I could have swore there was a.
I know.
Berenstain Bears or Berenstein Bears?
It is most certainly Stain.
See, I always thought I remembered Steen.
No, so see, there was no She-Ra on ice either. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I do know there was a Smurfs on ice because I have pictures of it. Yeah, so, yeah, man. That's so weird that we both thought that there was a He-Man on ice.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Do you remember Sinbad being in a movie? The Genie movie?
Yeah, you know what? I don't remember that at all. I know that's like one of the biggest Mandela.
I remember that.
And you? Because I never heard of it. Kazam, right? Or is
it's interesting how many? Because I'm positive. I almost remember like seeing the trailers.
What's the Shaquille O'Neal movie? Is it Kazam?
Yes, but it's different than the Shaq movie though, because I know who Shaq was. I would never have confused Shaq with Sinbad. I could see how maybe someone who doesn't know Shaquille would. I mean, I don't see how. No, they're not. They don't look anything alike.
Nothing alike. No.
And I love Shaq, and I would have definitely recognized Shaq being in it. And I remember when he was in that movie, but it was like Kazam or Shazam. It wasn't Shazam. That's the DC character. But yeah.
Kazam, what was the Sinbad movie supposedly called?
I think it was Kazam.
Okay.
But yeah. So no, we'll have to we'll save that for another episode, and we'll go through all of the Mandela effects. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So you mentioned another one there, and we'll go ahead and mark it off the list because I'm sure this was a huge cartoon for anyone in the 80s. Was the Smurfs?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was a Saturday morning staple for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they had Smurf cereal. I remember the little Smurf toys. I think you got them at was it Hardee's?
Hardee's. I think it was Hardee's.
Yeah, because they were very similar to the California raisins.
Yeah. I had a bunch of those when I was a kid. Yeah.
Oh, I loved the California raisins.
Oh, no, I still have all my California raisins over there.
I
wish I could just grab all these things within reach and like show them, but I can't. They're like, yeah.
The Christmas special is still one of my favorite ever, and one in particular song I love just because of that California raisins movement. But the Smurfs, fantastic TV, several movies over the years too. It's been a very successful franchise.
Yeah, I never got into it past the cartoon. I guess I never watched those movies. I didn't know.
They're not bad.
No.
Yeah. You get kids, you watch a lot of things, and I probably would have watched the Smurfs anyways. So, oh, nice.
I have a Smurf on a skateboard. Whenever I'm able, I'm going to reach out if I can grab it and just grab something correlated to what we're talking about here. So, yeah.
So we've got another. Let me ask you a question. What about the gummy bears?
Well, I was getting ready to mention gummy bears because I think they were airing around the same time. Well, gummy bears came a little later, but I remember that I guess Smurfs might have been in syndication at that point, and would air on Saturday mornings with gummy bears. So yeah, that came to mind as we were talking about the Smurfs. Man, bouncing here and there and everywhere. High adventure
Right.
that's beyond compare. They are the gummy
Gummy
bears.
bears. That's what our dog's
They
name
are
is.
the gummy bears.
Bump, bump.
Mm.
The our dog is named Rory, and I call her Rory Bear. And
Roy
when
Bear.
I go and pet her, and I'll do that, and I'll be like Rory Bear, bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Well, that's
But
cool.
interesting fact about the gummy bears:
Yeah.
that was Disney's first attempt at full-length animation shows.
Really?
Yes, 85 to 91 is what it ran, and it's still to this day one of their biggest hits because it was such a popular
huge. Yeah, it
cartoon.
was a good show, man.
I mean,
Uh,
6 years for a cartoon, that's a
Yeah.
very healthy life.
Well, it's funny because a lot of the ones I'm going to mention tonight on my list literally had one season. So
So
yeah.
so what else you got for us on your list of awesome cartoons?
Well, since we're in that vein of Disney, let's just go ahead and tackle all of the Fox Kids Club. Now, I don't know. I know Fox is a national thing, but I don't know if people outside of I'm assuming they did outside of Kentucky had the Fox Kids Club, right, where they would show you get home from school and they would show like Tailspin, Chippendales Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck, like Bonkers, DuckTales. I mean, all of that was in there, man. That was good stuff.
That
Just
was,
while we're in
it
there,
reminded me of another cartoon that I completely forgot about.
what?
Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck.
Oh,
Yeah,
such a great show.
yeah.
Great
You know,
video game too.
Oh, it's a cool, very cool Nintendo game. I just read the other day that I think Seth Rogen is reviving that cartoon. Yeah, weird. Seth Rogen of all people, who's also where he's working on another Ninja Turtles movie as well.
I like Seth Rogen. I'm fine with
Wait a
cool with
minute.
him
Yeah, Seth
tackling some
Rogen.
of this
Yeah,
stuff.
I was thinking maybe I was getting him confused with another Seth, but no, it's Seth Rogen. Yeah,
Yeah, I know he was definitely on the Turtles project.
yeah. So, yeah, man, yeah, just all those like after school Fox shows were like primo, man. All that Disney stuff, man. I know, like I said, I mentioned a few episodes back that you were a DuckTales kid. We were both pretty big on it, but
Yes.
yeah,
Now,
I mean,
DuckTales would have been in my that would be in my top 3. I mean, that is very easily a top 3. Uh-oh. It's Miller time, baby. Sponsorship. DuckTales might have, and you let me in on the song that
the Hall and
Hall
Oates
song.
Yeah.
But yeah, DuckTales is in my top 3. I mean, easily of all-time cartoons. Not this new animation though. I'll watch it. I got very excited when they were bringing it back. It's different.
I haven't watched it. I saw what the animation looked like. I didn't think it was terrible. I try to look at those things being an illustrator. I try to look at them from like an artistic perspective, and I'm like, is this just dumbed down bullshit, or like should I at least like appreciate what they're trying to do? I didn't think it looked terrible, but you can't beat the animation from the original. I mean, that was just all of those cartoons were beautifully done. I mean,
Right. The story and everything's there, but it is just because it's different. I got the same way with Star Wars had a Resistance spinoff show, and it was a 2D animation style to it. And again, great story, but it's something I'm not accustomed to, especially with my childhood favorites like DuckTales, because everybody looks weird at that point.
we grew up with some really good animation and everything. I mean, you got to look at like those Don Bluth movies, like All Dogs Go to Heaven and all that stuff that was coming out, man. Like the animation, the movement. You know, we were watching. I subscribed to Disney Plus this past weekend to watch Willow, which I'll talk about later, but I liked it. So, and we were flipping through, and I was like, I haven't seen Sword in the Stone since I was a kid.
Oh my
So we
god!
put on, we put on Sword in the Stone for a little bit, and I started taking a nap. I got sleepy, but I was like admiring like the animation and that stuff. And I was just like, they just don't do it like this anymore, man. Like, I know that what they do now is art as well. I'm not gonna say that it's not, but these were guys that were drawing every frame, every movement, every position, you know what I mean, and making it happen, man. And just it was just beautifully done. The movement, the fluidity of everything was just so good. All those cartoons had it, man. Especially all those Disney movies back in the day. So
right. So you mentioned Tailspin. Tailspin was a good cartoon.
yeah.
I think it was a little underrated. You know, you're pointing out this specific block, and the best thing about all these shows were their theme songs.
Oh
That's
yeah.
where Disney hooked you with the entrance music that was get stuck in your head. It's easy, easy. I still have every one of those songs will get stuck in my head at some point throughout a year.
I don't
I
really
will have
remember
all
what I don't really remember what the Tailspin theme song was. I know if I heard a few cues, it would pop right back.
oh, tailspin. Oh, tailspin. All the something we get in with another tailspin.
All the trouble we get in with another tailspin. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it had that
Right.
very jungle beat vibe to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's great for all the Jungle Book characters. Jungle Book was a great Disney movie.
For sure. For sure.
And Chip and Dale.
Yeah.
Dude,
Rescue.
that was one of my favorites.
And it just so happens that everything that we're talking about also ended up making really great Nintendo games.
Yes. Oh man, I love the Chip and Dale. I love DuckTales. Is
DuckTales, Chip and Dale, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck. I mean, those are all really fun Nintendo games, man.
Yeah, Aladdin. Disney did really great to side scrollers.
I agree. Yeah.
Who was your favorite character on Chip and Dale?
I liked Monterey Jack, man.
I like Monterey Jack too.
He had one concern, and it was cheese.
Cheese.
That was it.
It's all you need in life.
If he caught a whiff of cheese, it wasn't, you couldn't stand between him and a piece of cheese, man.
The cool thing about Chip and Dale is it always had a very steampunk vibe to it. It had a lot of steampunk undertones, which I always thought was cool. Gidget and her whole get up there, and Monterey Jack with the goggles on the head, and they had the little airship going through. But I didn't like Dale.
You didn't like Dale?
I didn't much care for Dale.
Wait a minute. Now Dale's the one in the Hawaiian shirt, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Chip. I was more of a Chip guy than a Dale guy.
You know what's funny? There's a meme going around, and it's like, okay, maybe that really is true. But it was like a side-by-side picture of Chip and Dale, right? And then next to it, it was a picture of Indiana Jones and Tom Selleck from Magnum PI. And I was like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the one you're talking about.
Yeah, could be.
Oh, yeah. After you see the picture, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Great video game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, Inspector Gadget.
Was never big on it.
You was never big on Inspector
Was
Gadget?
never big on it. I would watch it from time to time, but it was not ever anything I was ever just like, I gotta watch Inspector Gadget, man. Like,
I used to. Yeah, Saturday mornings, you get up, watch Inspector Gadget. Now, I was a big fan of Get Smart.
Yeah, okay.
Did you ever see?
I remember
Smart. Don Adams, Maxwell Smart.
Yeah, the shoe phone.
Yes, the Cone of Silence.
Yeah,
I always loved the bumbling detective movies, and Don Adams in cartoon form as Inspector Gadget. Well, that's just fantastic, because it's basically Maxwell Smart in a cartoon, and good, evil. Dr. Claw, petting the cat.
Yeah, Dr. Claw with the cat.
Yeah, very synonymous in spy movies. Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
So I was
maybe I need to go back and give it another chance.
Nothing wrong. The movies not so good.
You don't like Matthew Broderick as Gadget?
Not really.
No.
No, he needs to stay animated form.
Mm.
Halloween outfit I want to do one year is Inspector Gadget.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got to have some contraptions, man.
Oh yeah, no, you can get the shit that comes out of your hat and
Oh,
everything.
that's
That
sweet.
like the helicopter handles.
Yeah. That's pretty rad.
Oh
That's pretty rad. If you ever do get it, you have to do it on the show one night. Just wear it.
yeah, just normal,
Just
Oh yeah, how's it going?
yeah. Don't mind me. I'm just
The my favorite one of my favorite memes to send to people, is the go gadget, whatever. And then there's one that's going around with go fuck yourself. And he gives the middle finger. And I think that's fantastic. So that'll get us kicked off YouTube right there.
look. I'm the one trying to watch my language here, and here you are just.
Well, we did have to throw out the meme. We can probably get away with one.
Yeah.
I'm surely I can get an air horn.
For mature audiences only.
So what else we watching?
I'll tell you what we're watching. I told you I was going to come out of left field with some stuff. We're watching Brave Star.
I'm not familiar. Yeah, I don't know Brave Star.
I know Brave Star. You don't remember Brave Star? Okay,
no.
So Brave Star came out, I believe it was from 87 to 88. And it was actually Filmation, the production company that did He-Man and She-Ra and things like that. It was their final production before they went out. And so it's like a Western that takes place in the future on this different planet. And so like Brave Star, his name is Marshall Brave Star, and he's like a Native American, I guess, sheriff type. He's got a robotic horse named 3030. And he fights this main bad guy named Tex Hex on this planet. I can't remember the name of the planet, but anyway, the whole big thing is they're mining this resource called Carium or something like that. And it's like, I guess it's like their major whatever, like coal. It's like their coal or something, you know what I mean? But man, so the whole thing is he's Native American, so he's got like these different powers. He's got like so it's like I wrote it down here: eyes of a hawk, speed of a puma, strength of a bear, ears of a wolf. And so like he's just a badass, like really cool cartoon, man. It was one of those short-lived, maybe one season, I think. And actually, as we're going through here, as they come to mind, I'm going to tell you, if you're interested in watching them, where you can watch them at. And I know for a fact that there is an official Brave Star channel on YouTube with all the episodes up there. Pretty sure in like the best format you can watch them in. But they're all on there. And just a really fun, cool cartoon, man. Had this like dark kind of mechanical, futuristic sci-fi meets Western vibe. But I remember I was hooked on it when I was a kid. And the action figures that they made were so cool because they were literally like, I don't know, 9 or 10, 11 inches tall. All this articulation, all these accessories, all these weapons, all these removable vests and things. And it was just so cool. And I only ever had one, and it was Brave Star. And I live in Lexington now, but when I was a kid, I didn't live in Lexington. I lived out in Schweitzer. And we would go to Lexington maybe a few times a year. And usually it was around Christmas time. And so at the time in Lexington, there were all these toy stores like Hills and Children's Palace and Toys R Us. We had all that up in Lexington, and we would go and we would walk around these stores for Christmas. And I begged, and my parents would always let me get one thing to take home from the trip. And so I got a Brave Star that day, and only one I ever had, but I wish I still had him. He's so cool. Y'all check that out. Very cool cartoon.
That's interesting. That'll I'll have to check that one out and pass the time.
Yeah.
So let's see. I made a fairly extensive list because there's a lot of stuff to talk about. but I don't think I'm going to have anything that I'm really going to surprise you with.
No, I think I've pretty much got your list pegged. I believe I
Yeah,
do.
I think. Oh, yeah, I'm sure you
Yeah,
got a
I've got
whole
it.
bunch of it.
Yeah.
Um, Mask. Did you watch
That's
Mask?
on my list.
Okay, yeah, I figured that would be. Yeah, there's nothing on here that I'm very positive that
My mask. Yeah. I was watching it like 2 nights ago because I knew we were going to be doing this episode. So I was like, you need to watch some mask, man.
right. So the guy who runs Shikara Pro Wrestling up in, I think it's in Pennsylvania, he is a huge and avid Mask fan, like fan pages and all kinds of stuff. And I remember I enjoyed Mask. I liked it. You had the gas station built into the cliff.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
I only had one. Yeah, I had two Mask toys. I had a yellow something or another. That's how good of a toy it was. I don't remember what it was, but my favorite was a green motorcycle that it flipped up and it turned into a helicopter.
I had the green motorcycle,
Yeah.
and I had what I thought was the coolest was Matt Tracker and the Thunderhawk, the red car, the main got the leader.
Oh,
Man.
yeah.
Dude, that thing was just so badass, and I really wanted to get a hold of that again, but like they're ridiculous if you try to look them up on eBay.
Yeah.
If you
All
can
that
find it,
shit goes for a lot.
yeah. I mean, if you can find it complete, it's like outrageous. But man, like mass figures and vehicles are not cheap to get a hold of anymore. It's like I'd love to have them, but certainly a cool cartoon. One of those cartoons that I wish they'd made like a video game after.
Yeah, that would be a cool game.
Yeah. So for those not familiar with Mask it stood for Mobile Armored Strike Command, and it was basically this unit of people that were up against this terrorist group called Venom, and they all had these helmets with different powers, and they used them while they were driving their vehicles. Now, the whole tagline for Mask was "Illusion is the ultimate weapon," and while someone's car might look like one thing or another thing, or their semi truck might look just like a semi truck, it was like a whole like mobile command unit in built into itself in disguise. So just really cool. And actually, it was it was officially tied in with GI Joe. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, really? No, I had no idea.
Yeah. Like Matt Tracker has helped GI Joe in canon stories before. Like it's all tied in. I mean, they're like Venom is pretty much like the equivalent of Cobra, and it's all kind of tied in. So,
I mean, that makes sense. Venom and Cobra.
right. So, no, yeah, it was a great cartoon. You want to watch that? That's for free on Tubi right now. So,
yeah, got to get you some Tubi.
Tubi is so good. Tubi and Pluto were so like if you had those, you don't need anything else.
No, I agree. We found Pluto and we were able to cut cable pretty quick after that.
Yeah.
So G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
A fantastic cartoon in itself. I love me some G.I. Joe. Got some Sergeant Slaughter with a great, the crossover into G.I. Joe and professional wrestling was always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Love Snake Eyes. What's not to like about some Roadblock and
Roadblock. I've got GI Joes within my reach, and I'm like trying to get one, but I don't know. I don't know which one to get. So let's just keep talking.
Who is your favorite GI Joe villain?
Okay, easy answer. Loved Tomax and Zammot, the Crimson Guard twins.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Loved them.
Yes, they had the face paint, right?
Well, no. They were just twins, but one of them had a scar on his face, and that's how you could tell them apart. But they were the ones. They didn't have face paint. They had like these blue sleeveless shirts on, and they had like red sashes, and they were pretty much just like these like business types for Cobra. But they were the Crimson Guard commanders.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking of ones that had the black like the wrestling face paint on. Yeah, these guys had the red sash coming down.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who you're thinking about.
They look like they would have belonged. They would have belonged in like an '80s rock band.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I would have listened to their album if they had put one out. So Tomac said, I'm not putting an album out. I'll buy it.
So obviously, Cobra Commander was fantastic, but my favorite. See if I can get this guy up here. I always thought he looked the most badass. So who else was while I try to find this guy, who else
Villain wise, I love this guy.
villain or hero? Oh, he got
Serpentor. He had the snake chariot that yeah, loved it. Loved it. Did you say hero wise? I don't even know if he I don't even know if he was in the cartoon. Do you remember Captain Gridiron?
Captain Gridiron.
I don't think he was a figure, and he was in the Nintendo game, but I don't think he ever made it to the cartoon. He was like all footballed out. He had like football hand grenades and like wore a football helmet and had like padding on and all this craziness.
Zartan was who I was thinking of with the face paint.
Okay, yeah. There's Zartan, Xandar, and Zarana are all brother and sisters. And what's cool is their action figures all had this feature that if you put them in the sun, their body changed colors, because that's what happened to that's just something in their DNA. You can help them camouflage into places and stuff. So yeah, they were cool. I do like them.
Interesting. I don't think I ever had any of those.
Yeah.
But that was a big thing back in the '80s, was your toys changing colors either in
or
leaving them out.
Yeah, you had to have some kind of gimmick.
Dr. Mindbender.
Yes. Loved him.
He was cool. He had a monocle on. I had a obsession with eyewear back then. Out there, and really good mustache. He had a great mustache too.
Great mustache.
Obviously, Cobra Commander. Destro was a big good villain off the cartoon.
Yeah. The thing about G.I. Joe is that there's so many like distinctly cool characters that it's kind of hard to nail down like a favorite, because there were just so many cool ones, which also makes it hard to collect the toy line if you're really trying to get into it. I was really trying to collect the toy line a couple of years back, and I was like, I can't even begin to, like, there's no way I will ever.
Oh, where would you even start? I mean,
yeah.
You'd have
I've got like 20 maybe, but it's like, dude, I can't, what am I going to do? Like, yeah. Yeah. It's almost like one of those things where you have to like collect your favorites, and that's about it. Like try to get a hold of your favorites. Yeah. So,
right.
Yeah. Great.
So, what else? What do you got? What do you got out of left field for me? Throw me some more.
Man, what you know about that Police Academy cartoon?
Oh yeah, I love Police Academy.
Love Police Academy.
The cartoon.
It was a cartoon that was. I think it was one of those that only lasted like a season, but they had a great action figure line.
Yes, they did.
And I do have some of them up there. I have Mahoney, Hightower, Tackleberry, and Larvell Jones. But the thing is, the cartoon was so faithful to all the characters' personalities, only they were amped up like times 10. It was like, yeah, I know that like Bobcat Goldthwait is a fucking nut, but let's make him even crazier in the cartoon. Like, right. He's almost like an animal in the cartoon. It's like bizarre. Yeah. Great. But they just did such a good job, like faithfully nailing the personalities of everybody. It was a lot of fun.
Did you know that him and the guy that played Sweet Chuck remained like best friends after? Like I seen a picture of them the other day, or like I don't know if one of them passed away or something.
No, they're both still alive.
Yeah. Okay, I seen a picture of them the other day, and they were out together. I thought that was hilarious. Like, what And what fantastic on the screen too.
Yeah, sweet Chuck. I love him.
I love Police Academy.
Yeah, I do too, man. I do too. Even as the movies went on and they got cornier, I still love them. Like it's just stupid fun.
One of the few movie lines where your sequels, I thought the third one was the better of the series. You know, every once in a while you'll get something like that. And I thought that was one of them.
1, 2, and 3 are like phenomenal.
Right.
4 was fine. It was fine. And then these Assignment Miami Beach, and then you got like City Under Siege, and as we kept going down that route, I was like, okay, but I still love them. Still love them.
They were what they got up to like 9.
Yeah.
So yeah, the cartoon was great. So what about Dick Tracy? Did you watch some Dick Tracy cartoons?
Here's the deal. Are we talking about the ones from like the 60s?
Because yeah, I would accept those because I went back and watched those. And between those and then they had the newer run.
I didn't know there was a newer run.
There was a let's see what the years were.
Because I got to be honest with you, I'm not big on the 60s one, and I tried to be because I've been watching them lately. And they're just a little bit too goofy, and they don't involve Dick Tracy enough for me at all. It's always like the different characters that they had he's like, hey, this is Dick Tracy from The Office. Like, I need you to go apprehend Flat Top. And then it'll send out the whatever character they're focusing on that little segment. And it's like, well, Dick Tracy didn't even do anything in this. So I didn't know that there was a new run.
You didn't know about it because it didn't exist.
Okay.
So what I had done is I had bought, I had the Dick Tracy cartoons on VHS.
But you had the ones from the 60s. Then
No, they were original ones.
Okay.
So yeah, they're a little out of the 80s time frame, but it was the 80s when I was.
No, we can. Yeah. No, that works. Yeah.
So what else we got on our list here?
Let me hit that Teen Wolf cartoon.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I do. Didn't watch it, but I do know it was a thing.
I think it was another one that had like one season, but pretty in line and on par with like the antics of the first movie. See, it's funny. I remember all these little flash in the pan cartoons, man, from when we were kids, and I can vividly remember them, and I look back on them like pretty fondly. I mean, I'm sure they probably suck now, but I mean, I like talking about these things that maybe nobody really remembers instead of the big heavy hitters that we're going to mention. I enjoyed those, man. And if you like the Teen Wolf movies, Michael J. Fox, like you would like the cartoon. So all the characters are there. James Hampton, who plays his dad, in the movie, actually voiced him in the cartoon. So,
oh, nice.
I met that man at Scarefest several years ago. He was very nice. It was the same night I pissed off Ernie Hudson.
Oh, wait, how'd you piss off Ernie Hudson?
Oh, haven't told you the story?
No.
We got a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Like you, I'm sure you probably asked yourself this, right? When we were kids, when we thought of Ghostbusters, we thought of all 4 of them, right?
Right.
A lot of the marketing, a lot of the, I mean, this is no secret. The marketing and advertising campaigns, oftentimes they left him out.
Yes.
And I always wondered, like, well, what's the deal with that? Like, is he not as big a star? Like, is he not one of them? I always looked at him as, hey, they're not the Ghostbusters unless there's 4 of them, right? So I had walked past them at Scarefest. This was like 2010 or 2011, I think. And I walked past them and I was like, Ernie Hudson. He's like, what's up, my man? And I was like, oh yeah. And I like shook his hand. I was like, man, I got to go back and talk to him here a little bit, right? So I like went back to his booth and I got up to him and he was like, what's up, my man? And I'm like, hey, like, how you doing, man? I was like, listen, man, I was just something I was always curious about. I was like, why were you left out of so much of the marketing of the movie and like the Sega game that came out like well after Ghostbusters 2, like you were already a major character. Like, why did they leave you out of all that? And dude, he did not take to it at all. And I apparently hit like a really like touchy nerve for him, because he goes, I don't know, I'm not the damn writers. Why don't you go ask them? And then he turned away from me and started talking to somebody else. And I was just like, Ernie, Mr. Hudson, Ernie, I'm sorry. What did I say that was so wrong here? And then like a handful of years back, I read an interview that someone did with him that I think he thought that Ghostbusters was going to be like his big breakout, and he didn't feel that it was. But I mean, I felt like it was. I don't know. I'm not him.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I can't speak on that. But I mean, like, hey, when I think Ernie Hudson, I think Winston Zedmore, man. So, yeah.
right. Yeah. I mean, I'll be like, oh, look, Winston's in this TV show, or
Yeah, Winston. It's not his
I
name's
always
not
thought it
even.
was too. Now looking back as an adult and knowing what you know now, you see all the obvious things that
Sure.
shouldn't have went on, and
Yeah.
but I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I innocently asked him. I didn't mean to like kick up any shit with him, and he just didn't. He didn't take to it very well at all, and I felt really bad. I guess after I learned that.
That he got the bad end of the stick.
But I mean, did he? I mean, in marketing, maybe he did. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's a lot of people's favorites. Like
I always came off the first movie. I was like, okay, well, he's not on the stuff because he gets hired halfway through the movie.
That's exactly what I thought too. I was like,
okay, so you didn't want to spoil something.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, he's got one of the most iconic, two of the most iconic lines. Easy though, him and Ray crossing the bridge.
Oh yeah, that whole scene, and then the whole courtroom scene where I have seen shit that'll turn you white. Not the courtroom, but like the mayor's office. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, dude. I don't know.
I love this town. At the very end of the movie,
exactly.
He kind of closes out the movie.
He closes the movie out. I don't know. He didn't like it. I felt terrible. I didn't. Ernie, if you're listening, man, I am so. If you ever happen across this and be like, who are these two? Who are these two guys, man? I am so sorry for pissing you off, Ernie. I respect.
Oh, we should make sure that happens.
Yeah,
we need to make sure that Ernie Hudson sees Jason's apologies, and I'm sure he sounds like he's better with everything now. But of course, he's probably gotten a lot more royalties now with the newer stuff.
Mm-hmm. Let's make.
He's done really well on the other shows he's in too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, but he's in Quantum Leap, that new Quantum Leap too, isn't he? Which I heard is not doing that well. But then I've heard it wasn't that bad of a show, but still, it's not doing that well. So I don't know.
I haven't watched it yet, but it is definitely one that I want to see. It's one I'm very scared of the remake, but I heard they done the original a lot of really good justice and a lot of really good little eggs in there for it.
That's what I've heard too. So I don't know.
So
it's your turn. You got to hit me with one.
I'll hit you with one that might be obscure.
All right.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I never watched it.
Didn't watch Dungeons and Dragons.
And I will tell you this. I remember. Do you remember Miss Tigus in Peaks Mill, or when did you come there?
Yeah, I was there in Peaks Mill in elementary or kindergarten. Yes, I was a grade in front at that point.
Okay, I was going to say because I know we didn't meet each other until like first grade or something. So
yeah, it was second grade.
Yeah.
That's Tigus, obviously what I got held back for everybody watching.
Damn, that's early to be held back, man. Like what?
It is. Well, I had bronchial asthma really bad. You miss so many days and they don't care.
Yeah.
But it turned out, for the best. I made a lot of good friends, and a lot of people in the other class
you got that right.
They were always cool with me or everything, but I had really cool peeps in the grade behind, so it worked out really well.
Yeah, Miss Tigus, she had the Dungeons and Dragons castle and like a bunch of the action figures in the room. So whenever playtime came around, we would all like fight over playing with them. I do remember that, but never watched it. I never got into it.
I loved anything medieval. So,
Mhm.
that was right up my alley. But I remember I had a toy, and for years I would always just see the flashes of the toy. And it was like blue arms, and it had this weird looking skull, like a helmet on that came up, and it was like stone, black, Boba Fett mask in the middle look to it. And I never could place it because I'd forgot all about Dungeons and Dragons even being anything other than the
Is
tabletop
his
game.
name? Is his name the War Duke?
I don't know.
Look it up. Look up Dungeons and Dragons War Duke.
Oh yeah, that is totally it. That is right.
There you go.
Oh, they make a Funko Pop of that thing. Yeah, so I used to have this toy, and it
Did
was the
you?
only Dungeons and Dragon toy that I know that I had.
It's a cool. He's a cool. He's a cool looking dude.
Yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
the most vivid memories I have. Like, oh man, this toy was so cool, and I never could figure out where it came from
Yeah.
until a few weeks ago. I'd seen I was looking through a list, and Dungeons and Dragons popped up, and I was like, oh holy shit, that's where that toy was from, was the Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Yep. Those no, it was a cool toy line. I will tell you that it was cool. War Duke was definitely in the kindergarten class with us. So yeah, he was in there. And we
And
loved him.
not so good video games.
I was scrolling through NES ROMs one night, and I'm not into Dungeons and Dragons at all. But I ran across, apparently there was a whole like series of games right for NES, or maybe they weren't released over here. I don't know what it was, but I tried them all, and they were all just absolutely terrible. I don't know anything about the video games outside of that, but I don't know. Not fun.
Yeah, no, I've never played anything good besides the tabletop out of Dungeons and Dragons.
Not fun.
No,
Eddie Munson would not approve of those games.
All right, so that solved a mystery. I never actually got around to Googling there.
Just ask me.
What else you got for us?
Well, not so obscure, but I feel like we need to talk about Captain N, the Game Master.
Nice, good pick.
Saturday morning staple, man. That's another one that maybe one season. I don't know. I don't think it lasts.
Yeah, there's not a lot of those. I've tried to go back and look for streams on that before. I found a couple, here and there on YouTube. People have them posted, but they're not the greatest quality, of course.
Yeah. Very cool. Just a nice, during that hot era of Nintendo, man, all that hodgepodge of characters coming together. We had Mother Brain, the Eggplant King or Wizard, whatever, from Kid Icarus, right?
Wizard. Yeah.
Yeah.
King
Hippo from Punch Out. And then your good guys were you had Kid Icarus, Simon Belmont from Castlevania, Mega Man. Who was the princess?
I think it was obscure.
Just some random made up for whatever planet they were.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like the Never Ending Story princess.
Yeah. Yeah. Super fun, man.
And a great thought, if you ever got sucked into a video game, what kid who didn't have that would have loved to go into Mario or Mega Man or Castlevania.
Yeah. I spent lots of Saturday mornings watching that, man. That was a good one.
Yeah, Mother Brain was absolutely evil.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. She was so sassy too in the cartoon. Very sassy.
Yes.
Comical sassy.
Definitely did not care for the way Mega Man so much. I didn't understand why he talked funny, but hey, it was Mega Man. I'll take it.
I know. I accepted it, but it was garbage.
I did like the portrayal of Simon Belmont. I thought the vain.
Yeah.
I like the narcissistic, very vain.
Combing his hair all the time, looking in the mirror.
Well, if you're a vampire hunter, that's very handy. because they don't like mirrors, right? Or at
Right.
least that's how you can tell when somebody's
Well, you
there.
can tell if they're there or not. Yeah.
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 So
One thing I was going to mention, there was an episode which I thought was like, you know what, that is actually kind of cool. They had an episode where Bayou Billy was in it.
oh yes.
Do you
I
remember
think
that?
I remember that one,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Bayou Billy. I was like, oh, how cool is that? Because Bayou Billy's a pretty cool game, man. So, yeah, Captain N, fun game, man. I think it was probably right there at the same time as like the Mario Brothers Super Show was going on. Right, you had a lot of Nintendo cartoonage to pluck from back then. So
Yes, yes. There wasn't a short.
Yeah. So
All right,
what
so
you got?
I'm all out outside of we're going to get into some Ninja Turtles and real Ghostbusters, and that's really where about I'm out at this time.
I knew
did
you were
throw
going to
The
come with them.
Simpsons.
The Simpsons was
I
yeah, it
did
was
throw The Simpsons on my list because I remember, it was an adult cartoon on Tracy Ullman,
mhm.
but I remember some very ugly looking yellow people on my TV at night. And that's where I got started with The Simpsons. And I thought, that was one of the most iconic cartoons of, I think, our generation was
It
The
certainly
Simpsons.
is still going.
I still rock Simpson Sings the Blues.
Well, I
Got
was
it.
going to say, like, it was so big that it spawned action figures, which
I
were
got that
awesome.
on my phone.
You got the Simpsons Sing the Blues?
Oh, absolutely. I busted out
Yeah.
on the way to work.
Man, let me tell you what. I begged my dad to get me that tape, and he got it for me. I think he had to order it from one of the like music shops in Frankfurt and brought it home for me one day. But I only remember a few songs, and definitely the only real reason I wanted it was because of Bartman, do the Bartman.
Right.
But I also remember Homer singing, "If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all." Right?
Yep. Born
Yes,
Under a Bad Sign. It's
Yeah,
the only reason I know the song.
Born Under a Bad Sign. And
Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns sang one. What did he sing?
He sang, "Look at all these idiots.
Look at all those
fools."
idiots. Look at all those boobs.
Oh, that's
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Smithers gets a guitar solo and goes overboard in that song, and
Oh,
Mr.
man.
Burns kind of smacks him around.
Man.
I got that album on a church trip to Walmart.
Okay.
Don't ask me. I don't know why the church was going to Walmart or whatnot, but we were all in the church van and went to Walmart. I walk out with a Simpsons cassette, and of course, all the people of the church were like, "Oh, I went to a Baptist church, so anything that wasn't, so they all looked upon that badly."
Well, quick side note to that. My brother went on a church field trip one time and brought my White Zombie La Sexorcisto Devil Music Volume 1 cassette tape.
Nice.
And got that revoked from me, so thanks.
Yeah, well, that definitely beats me getting Simpson Sings the Blues on a church trip.
I mean, like, you couldn't have picked a worse album title to bring on a church field trip, but it's all good. I respect the it's Bartman.
Yeah, gotta
Dude, I was
have a little Bartman.
I got Bartman for Christmas that year when it was hot and the action figures came out, and like, I think we got Marge and Homer too. But like, man, I had Bartman, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever.
I had a Bartman. I had a normal Bart. I think I had a Nelson.
We had Nelson too. Yeah, we had Nelson.
So there was a few. The Simpsons, those were pretty good toys. Great video games. All the Simpsons games were really good.
Pretty good.
Their arcade game is one of the best arcade games still.
Hands down. Yeah.
Marge with the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, Marge with the vacuum. That Bartman song, I remember just being obsessed with it to the point to where like I knew that it was one night when they were airing The Simpsons, and it was either before or after the episode they were going to premiere the Bartman music video. And I wanted the song so bad that I took a little boombox and I like put a blank tape in and I like held it up to the TV screen and recorded it just so I could like listen to it on my own accord. And if I was like, this isn't cutting it, Dad, like, please give me the album. And so he got me the album. So yeah.
Oh, that is fantastic. So The Simpsons will be my final into this TV surfing we're doing right now. So serve me up one more before we get out of here. What else do you got to throw a curveball?
I've got the perfect one for me. One that I love. Never watched it as a kid. Only discovered it about 6 years ago, and I just fell in love with it. And I don't know why. Oh, I think I do know why, but like, it's a fun watch, and that is, believe it or not,
I know what it's going to be.
what? I want to see what you think it is. Go ahead and tell me.
It is going to be Jim.
Oh, Jim. Hey, baby, let me tell you something. Glamour and glitter, fashion and fame. That's all you need right there. 4 things. And I love it. I love all of it, man. Jim and the Holograms. Listen, it's got everything, man. It's got science fiction. It's got catty drama between 2 female rival rock bands. It's got a conniving son of a bitch record exec that's always trying to help the Misfits sabotage Jim and the Holograms. He's always trying to take over Starlight Music. There's drama. There's romance. There's cat fights. There's music videos within the cartoon. But there's always some kind of peril. I mean, what do you need? What more do you need? Jim and the Holograms. Let me tell you something. Love it. Love it.
So I did see only reason I do that is I seen your post that you're on Facebook the other day.
I was watching it the other night. I was laid up in bed with a beer on my heating pad, and I was watching Jim, and I was like, I don't think it really gets any better than this right now. Or it's definitely worse ways to wind a night down. And I'll tell you what, yeah. Jim and the Holograms. For all my ladies out there that love Jim, holler back at me. Let me know. I know y'all love it.
All right. So
I'm not ashamed.
There you go. That is surfing this afternoon on the television. The parents are calling for curfew, so it's time to wrap up so they can watch the evening news, which I'm sure we neither had any interest in doing so. Jason, where can the people find you?
Oh, you can find me on social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook, not Twitter, at Jason Shepard Artworks. And for the past few episodes, I've attempted to spell that out for you, but then I've learned that the white flashes the name up on the screen, so you can just look at how it's spelled there and come find me. And thank you for doing it.
It's always cooler when you do the X.
Oh yeah, that's ARTWORX, and yeah, that's where you can find me at. Where can they find you?
And as always, you can find the PowerBomb Nation on Twitter at PowerBomb Nation, on Instagram at PowerBomb Nation, on Facebook, PowerBomb Nation, on YouTube, PowerBomb Nation. You can just Google PowerBomb Nation and look for the big purple rhino that this man has brought to life for us. Keep in mind that the Culture Cast is a PowerBomb Nation Network podcast, and it is brought to you by PowerBomb Digital Media. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that way every time me and Jason come to you with a new video, you're notified. Until then, peace out.
Peace.